Welcome back to Business Bootcamp Lightning Launch, Episode 7, Setting Up Your Business for Success. Last week, we completed our crash course on marketing with the Magic of Marketing Part 2, where we took a deeper dive into digital distribution and really understanding the power of social media and the importance of owning your client list, email marketing.
So today we're going to dig into setting up your business for success, which includes processes, legal, operations, finance. And we know this sounds like a lot, but Kaizen, small steps lead to big leaps. So done is better than perfect. Just get started. It's not the sexiest of things, but fundamentally important.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We don't want you to miss a single episode.
I want to tell you a story about my friend Max. Max and his business partner had a great idea. Now, this is going a few years back when their idea was to sell online personalized shoes. Now, this is back when that was a novelty. Both of them were perfectionists, and they spent 2 years thinking through, planning, designing a website that ended up being so super complex that when they launched, there was crickets, not one order. You can imagine the pain that these guys felt. Website analytics were showing that there were clients and traffic coming to their website, but people were disappearing straight away because it was just so complex and no one understood what was going on. So avoid the painful mistake of my friend Max and instead think about what is the minimal viable product? What is the minimum website? What is the minimum design you could do to get out to the market and test it with real life customers without making a huge time and financial investment? So once you've launched, you can figure out what's working well and do more of that while simplifying and removing what doesn't add value.
Another thing I want to piggyback on that, right? Poor Max. I tell my teams, simplify, streamline, and standardize. Another one of my, Giselle sayings. It's so important when you land on anything, whether it's you look at a package, you land on a site, you understand immediately what it is. The other thing you want to think about, which with Gigi's Organics, I just wanted to get it done. So I launched a product or products, organic Latin seasonings at gigisorganics.com. People love them. They've bought a ton of them. But here's the thing, that $10, $20, $40 product, how many do I have to sell in order to break even and in order to make a profit given the margins for that particular product, etc. So really think through what it is that you are going to be selling and understand how much of that you need to sell in order to really thrive in your business.
Yeah, super important. So let's have a look a little bit deeper into how do you go about setting up your business. Again, we just want to reiterate that just do it. Prioritize what is the minimum you need for launch. There will always be more that you can do. You can always make it more complex, but simplicity is key. We're trying to get you to an MVP, minimal viable product. Get out to the market and test with real life customers. You can always adjust and pivot from there.
Yeah, so let's create a business. One of the first things you need to consider that's really important is the corporate entity, right? Are you going to form a C Corp, an LLC, an LP, a limited partnership, an S Corp? All of these things are considerations that you have to take into mind given where you are, how many partners you have, tax implications, etc. I have LLCs, I have a C Corp, I have an LP, right? All of them are incorporated in different jurisdictions. So based on what it was that I needed for that particular business. So something you really need to consider in consultation with your team and perhaps your legal team as well. Your company name. You already know because we did all that branding work at the beginning. So that's the wonderful piece about this. Your company name does not have to be the name of your brand, right? Your URL, your domain name. If you have multiple brands under an umbrella organization, you might also want to consider using a DBA, just to kind of keep things under one corporate entity. But again, you're going to talk to your accountant or your financial team about that. In talking about all of this legal stuff, please remember I'm an attorney. You want to think about the contracts that are necessary at launch. Do you have employees? An employment agreement is different from an independent contract agreement. An independent contract agreement and a freelance agreement will have some things that are different, but it depends on how you view them in your organization. So also things to think about, right? Do you have interns? Your sales contracts versus service agreements. On your website, you want to have your terms of service, your privacy policy. On the bottom of GiselleAchecar.com, I have a disclosure on every single page because I am providing consulting and coaching services on that site. And I want to be sure that everybody knows that I am not giving I'm promising results, right? That would land me in hot water. So you want to be sure that you understand exactly what it is you're doing, what contracts you need to stay legally safe. And because your website is going to be across the world, you want to be sure that it complies with European rules, with United States rules, etc. So aside from that, we got to talk about money.
Money makes the world go round, as some people say. So you really need to think about how much money you'll need to launch. And I always tell from experience in my own startups and companies as well, but also to other startups that I advise, be generous and plan with a buffer. There are a lot of unexpected costs and revenues can take longer than expected. And a little anecdote to that, I am a very optimistic person myself, but I've seen some very optimistic business plans in my day from entrepreneurs. So don't set yourself up to fail. It might be a self-fulfilling prophecy that if you set yourself up to fail, it might actually come to pass. So just know your cash wall and when you're going to be hard out of funds. And so
okay, wait a second, time, because we're going to throw some terms at them, some startup terms. What's a cash wall?
Yeah. So think of a cash wall. I always think of those like driving tests, where you see a car then crash into like a brick wall, right? So think of your cash wall as like when your funds are totally out. The well is dry. You don't want to be there. You don't want to get there. So what you need to analyze, for example, is what's called your cash burn, right? So how much money are you burning through each month? This is also a typical thing. Some startups, some companies, they get funding and they're like, oh, I've just raised whatever the number is, right? Let me get a team of 10, 20, 50 people to do all this work. Well, that is fixed costs that are just burning through your cash each month before your revenues are there. So be conservative. You also want to look at your runway, right? So if you think of like a plane landing on a runway, how much runway do you have until you hit that cash wall? Your goal is really to manage your finances well without being overly cautious that you don't actually make any investment decisions and try and test different things as well. So it's really finding that balance, but set yourself up to win by being more conservative than overly optimistic with budgets.
I like to add a buffer. So I'll add 20% on something. Even when I'm doing an RFP or whatever it is, I will add that because you never know, what you're going to come up against. Yeah, and you can spend a fortune on, wait a minute. We need to talk about business processes.
Well, yeah. And even just before that, I want to mention an important point with accounting and your finances.
Okay.
Before you go too far, set up a business bank account. There are some even free or very, very inexpensive online banks, depending on your country where you are. But, Western world, there's a lot of these, I'm sure in other countries as well. Set up your business bank account and have a separate business credit card. It will make your life so much easier keeping track of expenses, etc. And also business processes. This is something I really recommend for people to do really early on, is to think through the different stages, the different steps each of your business areas will have. So for example, if you're purchasing products, if you're going to be selling a product online, well, think through your supply chain and those different steps that will go and the different work that's needed there. See what you can automate, standardize to make it as simple as possible. If you have a podcast, for example, well, think through the different steps from recruiting the guests. You have maybe an email template to then you have the recording, then the post-production afterwards as well. What are the different steps? Who's going to do what? What's the cost going to be?
along with that, I just want to go back to one quick accounting point. You never want to commingle your personal and your business expenses, revenues, etc. So we cannot emphasize enough that you should have a business account and a business credit card. With respect to your processes, think them through. You can spend a fortune on advisors and teams and professionals and whatever, but a little pro tip: go online, do some research for inexpensive platforms that can help you form your company, set up your small business accounting, and get some of these processes all in one spot. So, growth work for the week. Decide what corporate form and jurisdiction best meets your business needs. Okay, so do that. Figure it out. You want an LLC, an LP, a C Corp, an S Corp. What is it that is going to suit your business needs best? Consult an attorney or a financial team if necessary, and then incorporate your business. So you will have an incorporated business. You will have some branding in place. You will have your social media posts and video scripts ready. And you're going to be closer and closer to go. And what do we have for them that will help them on this journey?
Well, we have created for you a free business setup checklist. So just go to claudiaandgiselle.com to grab your free checklist. The link to the domain is down in the show notes. This list will make your life a lot easier at claudiaandgiselle.com, and you can grab your free checklist. So a short recap of what we've learned today. Well, we hopefully got across the point of just do it, create your MVP and get out to market, and how to set up and think about setting up your business formation, your finances, and your business processes. Preview for next week. In our next session, we're going to dive into productivity hacks, one of my favorite areas. How to do more with less in less time.
Oh, we all love that because, time. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We really love hearing from you. So leave us some comments. Let us know. What did you find insightful? What information you need more of? The business checklist will really help you out. And as always, we're here for you. If you would like to work with us, just email us at the email that is in the show notes below.
And help us tell the world and share the show with family, friends, colleagues, and neighbors looking to lightning launch their business. See you next week.
Bye.